Whether it's speeding songs up, slowing them down, or making fine-tune adjustments when beat matching, controlling the tempo, or beats per minute, BPM, of our songs is what lies at the core of what DJing is all about. For the longest time though, it's been one of the most difficult and tedious tasks when it comes to making mixtapes in software. In this video, I'll show you how DJ Studio solves this problem. We'll jump into a DJ Mix project and I'll explain the tempo lane, BPM transition types, as well as different tempo lane modes, auto versus manual versus fixed tempo, or even disabling beat matching entirely for any transition. Let's start in the studio view. I'll expand the tempo lane, and this shows us how the tempo changes throughout the duration of our mix. Every track has a tempo, counted in beats per minute, BPM, or in other words, the speed at which it is created or played at. As we move from one song to the next, we can see DJ Studio adjusting the tempo up or down accordingly. You may even see changes in the tempo lane happening within a song, and that's a topic all of its own. But stick around to the end of the video because I'll give you a sneak peek explanation of what that's all about. The tempo lane itself has some controls over on the left-hand side that we'll take a look at in just a moment, but for now, let's focus on this first transition and see what's happening to the BPM in the tempo lane inside of the transition window. In this case, we're transitioning from a song that's 126 BPM into a song that's 128 BPM. At the start of the transition window, the tempo of the song we're mixing into is slowed down so that both tracks are beat matched at the same speed, 126 beats per minute. For the first half of the transition window, both songs remain at 126 beats per minute, and then in the second half of the transition window, we speed both songs up gradually, and by the end, we reach our second song's tempo of 128 BPM. With the transition tab open, you can see that this default behavior is highlighted as the current BPM transition type. Half uses half the duration of the transition to increase or decrease the tempo of the song that we're mixing out of and then into the song that we're mixing into. For instance, the next song in our mix is 125 beats per minute, and so at the beginning of the transition, the song that we're mixing into is temporarily sped up to 128 beats per minute. Then over the second half of the transition window, we decrease the tempo at which both songs are playing from 128 down to 125. Of course, that's not our only BPM transition option. Select full, and now the tempo adjusts gradually throughout the full duration of the transition. To further adjust the timing of the tempo change, either select free or simply click and drag the automation points in the tempo lane to specify exactly where you'd like the tempo adjustment to take place, even extending either side of the transition window. Want even more control? There's a way that we can do that, but first of all, let's check out the last BPM transition type, which is off. For that, let's change our example song here. Instead of mixing from 126 to 128 BPM, I'd like to switch things up and add a song here at 100 BPM. Trying to beat match from 126 down to 100 beats per minute isn't going to sound great. The 100 BPM song will be sped up and sound kind of silly before being gradually slowed down. At the same time, the 126 BPM song will just sound way too slow and it's going to be a mess. So instead, let's set the BPM transition to off. The transition window turns red and the lines in the tempo lane have become disconnected. This signifies that for this transition, all tempo adjustments, beat syncing, and even the beat grid itself has been turned off. Any songs, effects, and samples that we use during this transition will be completely independent of each other, and while that's not ideal at all for a lot of situations, it's perfect for situations just like this. Whether you want to mix between different genres, totally different moods, or like in this situation, very different tempos, we don't want to overlap and blend songs together, beat matching them in a more traditional sense. We just want one song to end and then to effectively hit play to begin the second song. In fact, I'm just going to hit undo to show you that in the transition tab on the left under presets, the echo out preset is set up to do exactly that. Selecting it, we see the BPM transition type is set to off, the transition window turns red, and the echo effect is placed right at the beginning. So once the transition window starts, the song that we're mixing out of echoes away, and the song that we're mixing into gets dropped straight into the mix. Let's take a listen. Your grandma probably know
I show up, God, I'm saying why.
Working with different tempos, another option is to permanently speed up or slow down a song to better suit the vibe of a mix. This can be done by moving our cursor over the line which represents the tempo of the song. Its current BPM is displayed and the cursor turns into up and down arrows. Now click and drag to increase or decrease the song's BPM, speeding it up or slowing it down for its full duration. DJ Studio's repitching algorithms will also make sure that when we speed up a song, it doesn't become higher in pitch, and when we slow it down, it doesn't decrease in pitch either. If you prefer, you can also right-click the line in the tempo lane and choose Set Playback Tempo to adjust it precisely. Then click Apply and you'll see the automation points in our transition windows have also been adjusted accordingly. The tempo lane is the ultimate guide to what's actually happening with the speed of the songs throughout your mix, whether that be faster or slower, beat matched or not. Over on the left, you'll find some pretty important controls. These are the tempo lane modes which should default to auto. Auto mode is the behavior we've been seeing thus far. When we add a song into the mix, DJ Studio will apply the default BPM transition type, adjusting the tempo and beat matching for us to make sure that the songs play back at their original tempo or whatever tempo that we then set them to. Setting the tempo lane to manual, initially nothing appears to have changed. However, zooming in and clicking on the tempo lane BPM line, we can now manually add as many automation points as we want, even in the middle of songs, allowing us to create custom and complex BPM adjustments. Make a note though that setting the tempo lane back to auto will reset any manual automation. So manual mode is something best used either explicitly or switched into for fine tuning towards the end of creating your mix project. The final tempo lane mode is fixed. Selecting this option, we're able to specifically set the mix tempo. If you prefer the speed of your songs to start at a specific BPM and then gradually increase or decrease throughout the full duration of your mix, simply set a start and end tempo, click apply, and now my mix gradually increases from 120 to 130 BPM. No need to worry about adjusting the tempo timing of each individual transition. If you're mixing a particular genre and just want to stay at a set BPM for the full mix, then choose fixed once more and set your start and end tempo to be the same BPM. I hope this video has helped you feel confident with how BPM and tempo adjustments are handled inside of DJ Studio. Of course, controlling the speed of our songs is only half the battle when it comes to beat matching, synchronizing the timing and playback of individual songs in our mix. For that, the second and equally most important piece of the puzzle is making sure our songs have their beats analyzed correctly and aligned to the beat grid. Even if the music speeds up or slows down within the songs themselves, like which is common with disco or acoustic tracks. The way that DJ Studio handles this is a massive part of what makes it the ultimate door for DJs. So keep watching the Academy because that's exactly what we'll be looking at next. My name's Midtown Jack and I'll see you in the next video.